Alrighty, good morning to all of my friends in the West, good afternoon and evening to all my friends in the East. Welcome to the first match of round number 2 of the Super Mario Galaxy Any Percent Luigi tournament for the winter of 2021/2022. My name is Steakinator, I will be your host for this wonderful event. Today we have probably one of the most anticipated matchups, at least in my opinion, of the entire round. On the left side of the screen, Breadghost with a personal best of 2 hours, 24 minutes, and 1 second. On the right side, Ginkgarbor, 2 hours, 26 minutes, and 21 seconds, I believe. I'll have to get a refresher on that at some point. So this is going to be a really intense match, I believe. Ginkgarbor has improved his personal best by a wide margin since he signed up for this tournament. I think that seedings for this tournament ended about a month ago, and I believe Ginkgarbor had about a 232. So the fact that he's managed to improve himself to a 226 means that there are chances for a lot of drama in this match. So the players are about to get started. I do see the race room is underway, just need to wait for the stream to catch up. Alright, I'm going to take just a second to try to get the streams to sync up here real quick. And I think that is good to go. Yes, sir. Alright, so there's going to be one key difference that you're going to notice right off the bat between these two gentlemen, is that Ginkgarbor will be using 2 controllers, as you can see by the 2P cursor on his screen. That allows for quite a few additional benefits. For example, collecting star bits is easier because the 2B pointer is massive. It's going to allow him to freeze enemies and such. There are also a slew of tricks and jumps that are only possible with 2P. The downside is that you have to use a second Wii remote taped or velcroed onto the first one, so it can be a little bit clunky sometimes. But, you know, ergonomics aside, the benefits in terms of the speedruns are immeasurable. Breadghost, of course, being a member of the so-called old guard, refusing to use the 2P controller, staking to 1P, being somewhat of a purist. So okay, both players collecting the bunnies within about a second of each other, so really close start already. Definitely going to be indicative of the rest of the match, if I'm allowed to say that. So you can already see one benefit there, Ginkgarbor doing what's known as a grounded 2P jump. If you press A on both controllers at the same time, Luigi will do a jump that is extra high. You're going to be seeing him use that a fair amount here whenever there's a jump that would normally be cleared by a backflip. The 2P jump does that without causing you to lose momentum. So if there's anyone who has not watched Super Mario Galaxy before, the goal is to collect 60 stars, and then the final Bowser fight will be unlocked. And once we've beaten that and collected essentially the 61st star, the run is over. It'll take about 2.5 hours, so I hope you're all ready for quite a bit of stargaze in action. Players making their way through Gateway. It's a little more than a tutorial level. There's not too much interesting stuff for the first little bit. You can see they get introduced to the concept of star chips, which will be useful. This game loves making you collect 5 of things. So that's going to be a recurring theme. Oh, Ginkgo being a little bit too quick to get the key there. Now, coming up here, the players are going to be going for one of the first frame-intensive tricks of the run. You're going to see Breadghost, he's taken out that Goomba, getting the key, and inside that green pipe on the bottom of the planet, we're going to be trying to hit a 4-frame window in which the players are going to jump as soon as they hit the ground, and doing so will ideally let them escape a text box. So we're going to see Breadghost go for it here. Let's see if he's able to. There you go. He actually jumps on the first frame, which does not allow him to turn around. You're going to see Ginkgo try to turn around. There you go. He's able to get the backflip and utilize backwards momentum in order to get just a little bit more speed. Ooh, Breadghost letting his long jump go just a little bit too early. That's going to cost him a little bit of time, but nothing too big. One thing I've been meaning to do is try to get that SMG command changed so that we can include the bracket. And we'll perhaps talk to SpeedGaming later on about that. So the players only about 3 or 4 seconds apart at this point, which is one of the closer starts we've had. So definitely a very exciting way to start this tournament. Now we're going to have about 2 minutes of just exposition and story, as Rosalina, the best girl, is going to be talking to us about her ship and all of that. Give us the idea of the story. If you can read Japanese, then feel free to follow along. Otherwise, just sit back and enjoy the show like the rest of us. I've posted the bracket in chat if anybody's interested in taking a look at that, seeing if there's any of the streamers you watch competing in the tournament. This game is kind of weird because it starts out really slowly with all of these like long tutorials and story and stuff. But the start of the actual run, these early levels are going to have a lot of tricks in them. Bonsai, you don't have a challenge link in the SMG command. If I'm allowed to make a suggestion now, I would say replace the Discord link with the challenge link. Because I don't think anybody who's watching this really wants to join the Discord. At least, assuming that's the SMG events Discord, yeah. So that's my suggestion. I don't know if there's anybody I need to talk to about that. Alright, so at long last, the players finally finishing up all of the text boxes and stuff. We're heading into the first galaxy, Good Egg. Good Egg's a very fun one, I think. The players are going to be doing 2 or 3 stars. I believe Breadghost is going to be doing 3 of them. Ginkgo is only going to be doing 2. And I think all of them are actually pretty fun. From both a platforming and sort of just game mechanic perspective. So here we go, Breadghost making his way on in. He's going to be heading over to the left. We're going to be seeing Ginkgo head down to start with. He's going to be doing slightly different movement to get up to this tower. He's going to be taking advantage of what we call a mid-air 2P jump, which is, of course, a mid-air version of the grounded 2P jump we saw earlier. That allows him to climb up the back of the tower a little bit faster. Again, the players are going to be collecting star chips, and on the right side of your screen, you can see yet another benefit of the 2P cursor, as I said, freezing enemies. When these boulders crash into each other, they drop somewhere between 8 and 10 star bits each, and that allows Ginkgo to get a whole whack of them super early on. The players are both doing a route in which they want to be collecting 1,400 star bits over the course of the run. So we're going to be seeing them get quite a few, at least in these early phases, just because there's a checkpoint that they need to hit fairly early on. Ginkgo with a little bit of an awkward momentum there, getting himself caught in the sand. You generally want to avoid that sand part altogether, but no big deal. We're going to finish up this level with the first boss. This boss isn't anything too crazy. I think it's pretty cool, like, as your first introduction to Galaxy. Dino Perone is a pretty cool boss, but in terms of speedrunning, it's really basic. Get behind him, spin the tail 3 times. Breadghost making sure to shoot Dino Piranha with the Starbit to ensure that he's not going too fast. Nice little optimization, makes it a little bit easier to finish the boss. And with that, he's good to go. You can see Ginkgo doing something else, or something similar, I should say, except he has more Starbits, so he's able to just fire them off like a machine gun. $8.52 for Mr. Ghost, and looking like an $8.58 for Ginkgo, $8.59. Only about 6 or 7 seconds behind. Not bad. 69 Starbits for Breadghost, nice. So both of the players, after completing this tutorial, which teaches them about Starbits a little bit more, how you can shoot them at things, they're going to be both heading into the second level of Good Egg, which coincidentally also involves shooting Starbits at things, so a nice little bit of tutorial action there. You can see Breadghost really waving that cursor around, trying to get as many Starbits as possible. The gimmick of this level is that you need to collect 100 Starbits somewhat early on to ensure that you can feed the Hungry Luma, which is required to progress the level. Ginkgo taking a little bit of a slow approach getting up to the question mark coin, but using 2P in general makes this level a lot easier. So I don't think Ginkgo is going to be too bad. You're going to see him waving that 2P cursor around, trying to get as many Starbits as he can on fly-in. Oh. Breadghost getting a little bit dizzy there. And as you can see, Ginkgo's use of the 2P pointer has already allowed him to make up quite a few seconds. Now the rest of this, it's really just basic platforming. There is one cycle that the players can try to hit inside the Pill Planet, which is the next planet, but I don't think either of them had the correct movement. There's a Crusher inside there that we tried to sneak in between before it crushes. But again, I'm not exactly sure if both players had optimal movement beforehand to ensure they'd make that. It's not the end of the world, it's only a couple seconds, but it's a nice little optimization. Yeah, so both of them having to wait it out, and the rest of it is fairly straightforward. Here you can, they want you to collect blue star chips to create pull stars, but obviously just long jump. So only about a second separating the players, Ginkgo doing a nice job of making up a little bit of time there. Now we're going to see the routes diverge temporarily. Ginkgo is going to be immediately moving on to the next galaxy that's going to unlock right now. Breadghost is going to stick around and do one more star in Good Egg. So Breadghost's level is a very technical one. There's a lot of very optimized platforming that he's going to be trying to do, and one trick that's being done on those starships up there. However, I would have to say that all eyes should be on Ginkgarbor's screen right now, just because the level he's entering has one of the hardest tricks and probably the spot where many top runners reset the most. So normally they want you to go on this whole adventure across multiple planets, and you're going to cure the queen bee's like itch and stuff like that. We're just going to say no to all of that and do a little bit of tree climbing. So you can see very nice wall kicks from Ginkgo, getting all the way up to here. This is a spot we'll get to in the next level. Now he's going to go for a very complicated trick here. He's going to try to do a midair 2p jump, bridge the gap, there you go. Now because the toads are at the top of this tree that he's on right now, we're just going to skip the entire level and do what's called slope climbing to get up there. Normally you're not supposed to be able to stand on these slopes, but with that little bit of slope climbing technique, we are allowed to jump across them. So first try for Ginkgo getting the very difficult tree skip. That is one massive hurdle out of the way already. Breadghost going for the bridge skip here. Normally they want you to kill those two octopuses, but we have ways of just jumping around those. No big deal there, and he's on to the second boss fight of the run, King Caliente. It's not a very difficult boss either, but, you know, it's a good source of star bits. That's the main reason why he's doing this level, instead of moving on to Honey Hive right away, as did Ginkgo. I will illustrate the difference in a moment. Just know that the reason Breadghost is here in Good Egg 3 is for star bits. He's going to be collecting about 70 of them here. Very good fight from Breadghost, taking advantage of weak spins. If you've ever played Galaxy before, you know that your spin has something of a cooldown. You can spin, and then you're on cooldown for about another second. But these weak spins sometimes have a hitbox, even when you're on cooldown, so we're able to take advantage of those. Here in this King Caliente fight, and later on when we fight Bowser, we're also going to use that at least once. So as Ginkgo moves on to Honey Hive 2, you're going to see pretty much the exact same movement for Honey Hive 1, because we're going to be doing another little bit of tree climbing fun. So you can see him get up to the exact same spot. He's not going to take this launch star, which is what they want you to do, but rather he's just going to try to jump onto the tree. A little bit of an awkward camera angle makes that a tad difficult, but he's able to get up there. And again, they want you to go off to the left and hit a switch to activate the arms of this windmill, but they are thick enough that you're able to stand on them, and with a little bit of precise platforming, we are up on top. We can face the Mandibug stack or Stingbug parent or whatever you call it. So a very clean Honey Hive 2 for Mr. Ginkgarbor. Breadghost is now primed to do battle with Honey Hive 1 skip. He's going to be doing a different version. The one that Ginkgo did where he got that backwards momentum and was able to 2p jump off the edge of the tree. Obviously Breadghost cannot do this, he's only using one controller. So we're going to see him go slightly higher up the tree, and we're probably going to see him slide forward. Yep, there we go. He's going to do a jump, and he is able to make it across. So two slightly different versions of the same trick. Either way, skipping the entire level and going straight up to the toads. Good stuff. Neither player committing huge atrocities so far. Really nice terrace domes thus far. Alright, Ginkgo entering Honey Hive 3. This is finally where we take a slightly different path. This time we are going to head over to the back because there is another boss that we have to take care of, but he's somewhere else, so, you know, we gotta make our way over to him. And there's nothing really complicated about the approach, it's just long jumping. That's pretty much all Super Mario Galaxy speedrunning is. Am I right, fellas? Now, I want to very quickly remind you, don't think of this as Ginkgarbor being 1 star ahead already. He's definitely not. Remember that Breadghost did 1 extra star back in the first galaxy, so Ginkgo still has to make that up, and he's going to as soon as he finishes taking out this boss here. So this lad, nothing too complicated. He flies around and you just kind of ground pound his back. We're able to triple jump up to him since the bee mushroom is pretty useless. I think the flight of the bee mushroom from the ground gives you the exact same height as a triple jump. So we're able to just triple jump around instead and take care of the boss with no issue. So that's Hive 3 done. The estimated finish, you can... If both players are playing like reasonably well today, you should see times of just under 2.5 hours. So for reference, Breadghost on the left, his personal best is 2 hours, 24 minutes, and 1 second. Ginkgarbor on the right, his personal best is 2 hours, 26 minutes, and 21 seconds, I believe. So there goes Ginkgarbor heading into the Loop-de-Loop Galaxy. This is a level that Breadghost will not be doing. This is the substitute that you make if you play 1-player versus 2-player, and the reason is star bits. If you've ever done any manta surfing, if you've ever played Galaxy yourself, you know that the cursor goes off screen. However, it's only the 1P cursor. The 2P cursor remains on screen even when you're riding the manta, and so Ginkgarbor will be using this to collect roughly 100 star bits. So that's the main point. The players are doing this solely for star bits. We need to get 400 star bits within the first dozen stars. So the players try to front load it as quickly as possible to ensure that they have a little bit of a cushion. So you can see Breadghost turning around, getting the M behind him as he runs. That's not something Ginkgarbor had to do because he had a few extra star bits. But that is an optimization that generally 1P players will have to go for. Just to ensure that they get enough star bits. But Ginkgo, he's able to keep his cursor on the screen. He's going to be collecting star bits from the signs. I think there's about 12 or 16 star bits on every one of those sets of 4 signs with the YouTube play button. So... Big source of star bits here. Breadghost is going to be heading into the fight. He's going to be doing it much the same as Ginkgo, except I believe he's going to be going for a slightly different third hit. We'll have to wait and see on that. Admittedly, I'm not exactly sure what tactics Breadghost will be using in this race. He has already surprised me just a little bit with the things he goes for. I'm not going to say what, just because it's not super important, but a few minor optimizations. So there we go, he's going off to the right. He's going to be trying to triple jump, get on top of Bugaboom before he turns around the first time, and that is a very successful start for Breadghost. So Breadghost leaving his 7th star at a 2144, I believe. Ginkgarbor leaving his at a 2154. Yes, sir. So now the players' routes become the same once again, and assuming both players are using the most recent route, they will be doing the same stars from here on out. So both players will be heading into Flip Switch Galaxy. This is a fairly straightforward one. The platforming here is rather tight, but there's not anything like complicated. There's pretty much one cycle that they're going to be trying to make, and if they make it, they're probably good, and if they don't make it, it's not going to be so pretty. So the platforming kind of speaks for itself. I will let the players demonstrate and use this minute of reprieve to get a drink. So you can see Breadghost did have issues there. He had to spin to get across the gap. Ginkgarbor did not, and that did make the cycles a little bit harder for him. That one mistake alone As for Ginkgarbor, he's able to get up it smoothly, no mistakes for him. And that will hopefully allow him to cut into Breadghost's lead by about 3 seconds. And indeed, that is the case. We had a 23-11 versus 23-17. So Ginkgo only 5 or 6 seconds behind, roughly. Looking really, really close so far. Both players on pace to get a 25 terrace, which is really respectable exit. As they head into the final level of the terrace for now, Bowser Jr.'s Robot Reactor. Every dome ends with either a fight against Bowser Jr. or Bowser. It alternates. We're going to start with Bowser Jr., and we're not actually going to fight Bowser Jr., we're going to fight one of his machinations. That big old robot you can see on the planet that he's not even trying to hide. Now, normally they want you to lead a bullet bill from a cannon over to a cage containing a launch star. Neither player is going to do that because that's slow and bad. Instead, you're going to see Breadghost line up a triple jump on this platform, and the gravity field of Megaleg is so big that we're actually able to get carried over all the way from this other planet. Ginkgarbor doing something very similar with a backflip and a 2P jump in midair, allowing him to bridge that gap effortlessly. And both players are onto the fight. Now, unfortunately for the fight, they're not allowed to say, I'm not going to lead bullet bills, because you have to. The launch star is in the star is in a cage, so your hands are kind of tied in that respect, but it's still pretty fast. So here the players go, Breadghost off to the races, making his way on over. You're going to be seeing a lot of long jumping for the next 20 seconds or so. And there you go. Lead the bullet bill over to the cage, break it open. We're going to be doing that once more to get open the glass one as well. And again, the game normally wants you to open up all of those, or a couple of those sections to ensure the bullet bill can slide on through, but we just jump over it. Not too shabby. Breadghost trying to collect those star bits as late as possible deliberately. So 25-42, I'll finish my point in a second as soon as I know the player differential. 25-42 versus 25-48-49. So again, 6 or 7 seconds separating the players. Very, very tight race. Even 25 minutes in, that is a very good start overall. So yeah, as I was saying, both players trying to deliberately collect the star bits as close to when they touch the star as possible. This is because there's a window in between touching the star and the animation starting of you grabbing the star, where if you collect star bits, they can duplicate. So if Breadghost did not duplicate any star bits, unfortunately. There are 28 star bits total in the level, so if a player has more than 28 star bits, you know they duped. Neither player getting it this time around, but no big deal. I do believe... I will check Breadghost's star bit counter in a second, just to make sure that he's still doing okay. They have 3 stars to do before they require 400 star bits to continue the run. So Breadghost has 309. Okay, yeah. So Breadghost looking good. A little bit of an awkward start to his observatory movement, jumping a little bit too far to the right. But he's able to get it the second time. Yeah, observatory movements is one of those things that the players in this game tend to not optimize perhaps as much as they should have. Ginkgo taking a fall there, that's going to lose him more time than the fall Breadghost took, so that's definitely not how you want to start this. But it's okay. They're heading into Space Junk 1. Space Junk 1 is something of an equalizer because there's a skip at the very start of this that a lot of people tend to think is RNG. It's not, but it sometimes feels like it. We're going to once again be abusing backwards momentum, which for anyone that's played any 3D Mario game understands just how broken it is. And we're going to be using it to skip pretty much like half of this level. So that's pretty cool. So you're going to see both players move their way along a pole star path that you can see just to the left of Breadghost. And he's going to be trying to get Luigi to face down and towards the screen. He doesn't get it there, but you're going to see him try to orient Luigi specifically. There we go. And he's going to fly all the way back into these planets and skip again about half of the stage. Ginkgo also taking 2 tries to get the pole star skip. But this time looks good. Oh, nope, never mind. Luigi twisted. Was not expecting that. Now Breadghost is going to take a very well-placed triple jump, get right up into the the Sling Star, excuse me. That's an example of a mega triple jump, which abuses a secret property in the game called tilt. Tilt is really hard to explain, and I've never learned how to properly explain it, which is something I should probably do if I'm going to be commentating as much as I am, but, you know, it is what it is. But yeah, basically, we can manipulate a property called tilt to ensure that our jumps are slightly higher, and so it allows us to get the height we need. So both players collecting 5 silver stars in this region. There's not too much to that other than well-placed long jumps. And we are finishing up with Good Egg 1, or excuse me, Space Junk 1, nice and quickly. So the players have collected 10 stars. We're a 1/6 of the way down the run. Woohoo. Now, Space Junk 2 has absolutely nothing to do with junk. It does have something to do with space, I guess, but, like, so does everything ever. We have airships, because we need an airship level in every Mario game. And this features a pretty interesting boss fight. Not so much for the mechanics, but for as much as the, like, behind the scenes of the game. I'll talk about that in a little minute. But first, let's observe Breadghost's lovely platforming. Breadghost is a member of the Old Guard, one of the slightly older players, not in terms of age, but in terms of sort of history of the game. There's been a recent influx of players in the last 2 years or so. We can probably speak to that as to why so many players are using 2 controllers nowadays. So now we have Breadghost heading up to Camella. Camella's an interesting one. She throws alternating fireballs and shells, and of course we need to throw the shells back to hit her. Breadghost missing his first shot there. I'm not sure. He did set up phase 1. Okay. We used to think that the phases were RNG. However, it was determined that the phases are indeed set. So she always goes fire, shell, fire, shell, fire, shell. However, we manipulate the phases beforehand so that she instead goes shell, fire, shell, fire. So this ensures that we always have a shell to start with, allowing Camella to be hit on the first phase every time. Now, Breadghost unfortunately missed his first shot there, so that will cost him a couple seconds, but at the end of the day, it's not the biggest deal in the world. He still enjoys a very slight lead. Yeah, Hex, that's what I've been told. Don't shoot the messenger. Please, I am innocent. The irony in all this is that I am one of those runners that has only come over the past year. So, for me to be talking about this as I am is perhaps inappropriate, but whatever. Here we are. Alright, Space Junk 3. This one is definitely going back to the junk theme, as you can see here. Whole lot of junk, whole lot of random nothing. This features a really weird boss. It's definitely interesting having a boss in 2D in a 3D game, which is what this next boss is. But it's at the very end of the run. First we have to get through this nice little skip here. If you crouch and spin and then uncrouch, your hitbox is lowered just enough that you can actually hit the launch star from through the glass, which is pretty cool. Sometimes if you're angled correctly, you can do it without the glass breaking animation, and so you're just in and out all nice and quiet like. There you go, Ginkgo getting it much the same. And now we're introduced to sling pods, which are the main gimmick of the boss. as well as the next galaxy we'll be seeing in just a couple of minutes, but we'll get there when we get there. So this is the idea. Terrantox, this boss, we're going to be shooting Luigi through these sling pods. We're going to be trying to hit the backside. That'll flip her over, and then you hit the 3 things on the bottom. I'm not sure what those are supposed to be. Breadghost throwing himself too early for that 3rd shot. There's a cooldown before you're allowed to hit the boss again. Right, so you need to relax for just a second before you go. Breadghost missing just slightly. He tried to shoot the snout of the spider to freeze it for a second. There we go. Shooting those sort of sacks on the side also freezes for a second. Alright, so neither player having like a squeaky clean boss fight, but this boss is hard, so I don't necessarily blame them. $34, $25, $26-ish versus... Oh, missing the star once. There we go. So only about 10 or 11 seconds separating the 2 players, still keeping it nice and close. Up here we have one of the most polarizing galaxies in the entire game, Sling Pod. Now, as I said last time, Sling Pods were introduced in Space Junk 3, and now we have a whole galaxy dedicated to them. Some people absolutely hate this galaxy. For some people, this galaxy alone is the reason why they don't use the newest route. Other people really like it. You know, like I said, super polarizing. A very difficult stage as well to do fast. Now, in his round 1 match, Breadghost had a lot of issues with this galaxy, so I'm really hoping that he's able to fix his performance here a little bit and get through it a little bit cleaner. I'm allowed to say that because I also had issues with this in my round 1 match. I'm also competing in this tournament. So I am allowed to criticize Breadghost. Already not off to the greatest start, but you are able to save that one. Oh, and taking it a little bit too fast, trying to make a cycle. I understand where he's coming from. So now the player's pretty much even footing now. It's going to be a matter of who can navigate these cycles the best. You can see this level is a great source of star bits, which is why we do it. Breadghost having a little bit of issues with the mines, but he is able to save it. Now the players are pretty much neck and neck. Ooh, both of them getting stuck on the same pole star. That's interesting. The pole star hitting them from almost off screen. Ginkgo's angle not quite good enough. Not going to be able to save it, but neither is... Oh, Breadghost is able to save it. He's actually able to slide off that sphere. That's interesting. Now waiting out this nice and easy cycle, and he is in. So both players making some mistakes here. Each catching 1 death, but Ginkgo's death was unfortunately a little bit slower. And that will allow Breadghost to, in the end, widen his lead somewhat. So yeah, both players having relatively good early games. You had to have something break eventually, and, you know, if you're going to be making mistakes, then Slingpod is definitely one of those places where you can do it. So now, nice little piece of routing optimization. Normally when we do a Hungry Luma level, it kicks us out to the front of the Comet Observatory, the hub world. However, because this was also our 13th star, we get kicked out there anyways, so that Rosalina can talk about prankster comets, which I will get into in about 2.5 minutes when we go do one. So for now, the players are going to be heading on over into Battle Rock. This was the galaxy that we tried to cut out when we created the new route. This galaxy has a lot of very slow stars, and this one is no exception. This is a big old auto-scroller. There's really nothing to talk about here. There is a skip that exists to bypass the auto-scroller, and you can sort of just jump around out of bounds and have a whole lot of fun with that, but I would be very surprised to see either player go for it. It is widely considered the hardest trick in the game, and doing it in a race setting is questionable at best. So you can see the player is both going to be skipping collecting blue star chips because that launch star is high enough to reach through just a series of jumps. And now Breadghost is going to be running the auto-scroller, Ginkgo not too far behind him. And now we reach a part where there is really nothing for me to talk about, so I'm not. I'm going to grab more water. How's everyone in SpeedGaming doing this fine... What day is it today? Wednesday? Wednesday, yeah. Yeah, my finals ended last week, so I'm back into that nice bliss of the sort of winter break. I don't need to remember what day it is sort of idea. So that's nice. So yeah, finishing it off with another little bit of bullet bill leading. We're going to have like three more stars dedicated to that, I think. 2 or 3. So that's a nice recurring theme. Alright, the players are going to now demonstrate the first Prankster Comet of the run. As Rosalina explains it, Prankster Comets are comets that change the behavior of galaxies. So they'll normally require you to either redo parts of the galaxy or make slight alterations to them. So for example, this comet, the red comets are called speedy comets. We only do one of them in this run. And this says that you have to redo Space Junk 1, but with a time limit, which, I mean, we're speedrunners, we don't care about. Probably the more important deal is that it removes checkpoints. So if you die in the 3rd section, then you get sent back to the start, which can be really, really devastating. You can lose up to a minute. But you can see Breadghost, his timer started with 4 minutes, and ideally he's going to finish with like 3. So the timer is a little bit of an afterthought for us. All we really care about is the lack of checkpoints. So both players this time getting the pull star skip first try. Breadghost 2 for 2 on his mega triple jumps. We call that Sludgy Hop, named after the Sludgy Gamer, the one who discovered that jump in the first place. We're going to see Ginkgo. He doesn't, or actually he does go for it now, never mind. It's also possible to just do a backflip and 2P jump off of that platform, skipping it, but Ginkgo was a 1P runner for a while, so I guess he just goes back to 1P strats every now and then. I dig it. So yeah, about 3 minutes left on the timer for Breadghost. The timer, not really much of an issue. 41-41. Ginkgo's looking to be about 20 seconds behind. Yeah, 42 on the nose for Mr. Ginkgo. So 19 seconds off, so yeah. The player's not making too many mistakes after Sling Pod, keeping it roughly close. Now for Rolling Green, the second motion control gimmick, the ball, the star ball. This one is pretty bad, especially if you're a Switch player. For anyone who plays on the 3D All-Stars version, you'll understand that the gyro does not work so well on this. It can be very difficult to control it at times, but both players are playing on the Wii U, so they don't have to worry about that. So yeah, there's really only one skip here. And ideally Breadghost will show it off here. You can see that rail just off to the left. Normally they want you to go up into that hole up there. but we're actually able to just jump to it from here, just land right on top of that. It's a pretty dumb skip. It saves like 3 seconds, maybe. And if you fail it, you die. So, not really worth it, but I mean, once you understand like roughly where you're supposed to be placed, it's pretty straightforward. Ginkgo also going for it, also hitting it. No big deal. And now Breadghost going to try to aim himself into the hole so that Luigi's facing slightly backwards so he's able to get over to that flag post easily. So yeah, nothing too crazy on this level. One skip, a little bit of minor optimization. One thing you'll notice is that neither player is jumping and they're trying to avoid as many Goombas as possible, because if the star ball ever leaves the ground, your momentum is killed. So they want to stay rolling for as long as possible to ensure that doesn't happen. And with that, about 20 minutes after we got here, the players are heading into the Bowser fight to leave the fountain. So there you go, we out of here. So as I said, we alternate between doing Bowser Jr. and Bowser. This is going to be the first Bowser level, and it's pretty cool. It's a little bit short, but it features a trick that we don't see anywhere else. And if I was Toogs, I would make a really bad joke here, but I'm not, so I'm just going to say that Breadghost is going to jump into the Wild Blue. He's going to be taking a death here. Going to be abusing the fact that checkpoints in this game are more regions, and so we're able to jump into a checkpoint region and skip a little bit of the level. It's still unsure if that actually saves time, but it does make the cycles in this 2D section a lot more bearable, so we go for it anyways. Ooh. Breadghost almost meeting disaster there. A little bit of an awkward timing, but he is able to correct his course. Now Ginkgo. Ginkgo was practicing this star explicitly just before the match started. So I'd be very surprised to see any major mistakes from him. Overdoing the backflip just a little bit. Ooh, not able to catch the edge of that. Yeah, the textures of thwomps are so weird. Ginkgo not quite able to get on top of it in time, but that's okay. So now he's going to be trying to set up a triple jump here to trigger the boss fight early. Not going for the Ginkgo, you need to 2P jump. Well, I said it, I would be surprised. Commentator's curse. It's a real thing, kids. Alright, so he'll be trying to go for that again. Breadghost already onto the boss fight. Ooh, Ginkgo too far away from the platform, not able to trigger the boss fight. Speaking of the boss fight, I should probably talk about that. If you want to watch the skip, you're going to want to keep your eyes to the right. Breadghost heading on in. You're going to see him spin into Bowser's face a whole lot to cancel his attacks. And that's really how we're going to be skipping pretty much the whole thing. Bowser is going to be trying to throw fireballs, jump up and down, but we jump into his face and he stops that, and he does the one attack that actually damages him. When he jumps up and lands in one of those blue circles, he takes damage and gets sent around. And there you go. So yeah, relatively few issues for Breadghost here, finishing the fountain with only a couple of little blemishes, a little bit of suboptimal dome movement, and of course that one death in Sling Pod, pretty much the only thing marring his run so far. Otherwise, very clean. Anytime you finish the fountain in the 47-minute range, you can be pretty content, I reckon. I think even my PB finishes about there. So yeah, Ginkgo unfortunately taking those 2 deaths, trying to get up to the fight early, backfired, and he's going to be some 30-40 seconds behind. Can't say for sure. Alright, so Breadghost making his way on over to the third dome, the kitchen. This features a couple of really interesting galaxies. And a couple of hard ones, actually. Now this first one, Beach Bowl, it doesn't start very difficult. And really, I guess it's only difficult if you, like, make mistakes. But I make mistakes on it all the time, so maybe I'm just bad. This first level, it's actually not all that bad. Normally they want you to go underwater to collect those 5 star chips, as you can see on screen. They conveniently forgot about a tree that we're able to use. We're going to be abusing trees quite a bit in this game. It's all good fun. So you see he's going to do a triple jump on top of the palm tree. Ooh, no, you need a backflip. There we go. And now a well-placed triple jump right here is just barely going to give you enough height to get up to the star right away. So there you go, nice and easy. $49, $43, $44-ish. Trying to keep a rough tab on both players' times as they leave stars so I can get an idea of how far apart the players are. Beach Bowl 2 is also not a difficult level. Really, all we're doing is stealing a shell from a penguin. So you can see Ginkgo not even having to worry about triple jumps, just using backflip 2p jump in order to get up to the star. So he's less than a minute behind. He's about 40 seconds, I'd say. 39-ish. So yeah, that's the coach talking about how this is it's the swimming school. It's time for their final swim test. For whatever reason, the swim test doesn't have anything to do with swimming. It involves collecting a shell. I don't understand how that works, but, you know, here we are. Oh, Ginkgo nearly overshooting the coach there. Alright, now Breadghost can head into Beach Bowl 3, which is the level I was kind of saying was like the hard level for Beach Bowl. It can be, because there's one trick at the end where if you miss it, you die and you lose like 30 seconds, but it's not the hardest trick ever. It's just very frustrating when you do it wrong. Very fast out of the water is Breadghost. Heading on to the Stone Cyclone. Now this platforming at the very start isn't too bad. All you want to do is ensure you beat that Tox Box. So that's the cycle you want to try to hit. And now if he's able to get a jump that's pretty much perfectly up and to the left, he should make this. There you go. Sometimes you just kind of slide off that wall into the black hole. Super frustrating stuff, but Breadghost not making any mistakes now. He is definitely on form. Oh, Ginkgo taking his angle a little bit too high, not able to get out of the water with as crisp an angle as he possibly wanted. So as Ginkgo tries to do battle with the skip, we're going to be seeing Breadghost head on into Bubble Breeze to introduce the third with an asterisk motion control mechanic. It's not really, it's more pointer based, but I grouped the three together. Alright, Ginkgo going for it. No, he spins too late. He spins too late, spin bonks against the side of the platform, and unfortunately takes another death. Ginkgo is going to be over a minute behind after that. And he's unable to get the long jump. Ooh, Ginkgo not having a good time right now. So Breadghost, as you can see, is blowing a bubble around. You use the pointer to point behind the bubble, and then you blow it. You know how it is. Maybe trying to collecting these star chips all nice and quickly. Ginkgo tries to go for the skip once again. That time his spin is much better, and he's able to get it. Definitely not the Beach Bowl 3 that Ginkgo is looking for, but we're less than halfway through this race, so there is still time. So yeah, you can see Breadghost simply jumping over a wall at the very end there. Skip's doing the second half of that level, which is very, very nice. We hate doing levels around here. The fewer levels we can do, the better. And that allows us to head on back into Beach Bowl. We're going to be doing the Secret Star here. The Secret Star is also not that difficult. There is, again, a trick at the very end you can do, but the difference is that instead of being if you miss it, you die, it's like if you miss it, you have to do a different jump and it loses like 6 seconds. So, very different orders of frustration going on here. But still pretty fun stuff. Now, I don't know if Breadghost even goes for that jump. I was trying to predict what Breadghost's tactics would be this race, but I've been wrong a couple times, so I'm not going to make any judgments, but still. This introduces the Ice Flower, which is my favorite power-up in all of Galaxy. Turns water to ice, which seems simple enough, but it's actually used in a couple of really cool ways, like this one here, using it to wall kick up waterfalls. Alright, so Breadghost is not going to be going for the jump that I was thinking of. He instead goes right up onto the wall and backflips into the star. There's a triple jump you can do, where if you spin at the very end of your ice flower, you can spin twice, and that gives you just enough height to reach that star, but it's extremely tight window. It's like maybe a third of a second, so not at all surprised that Breadghost decides to take it a little bit easier and skip that trick. So Ginkgo, following about 1 star behind right now. As you can see, the players actually leave the launch star at pretty much the exact same time, which is interesting. Breadghost moving on into Ghostly 1. Now, Ghostly Galaxy is really interesting. This stage in particular has a lot of cool optimizations that the players are going to be going for. For example, if... Okay, sure, Breadghost's going to go for it anyways. You can use backwards momentum to go all the way around that toad ship, which is really cool. There's a rainbow star in this rock that we're going to be grabbing. Partially because it allows Luigi to run faster, partially because it makes him invincible, and we're going to be using that to take out an enemy just inside the mansion here. Oh, Breadghost clipping on the door. Definitely not what you want to see. That kills the movement. But there you go. That's the boo down. There's a light source you normally have to like lead it into, but that's very slow. And now star chips. Now this room is kind of hard to optimize because of all the different camera angles and gravity and all that nonsense. But Breadghost making quick work of it. Oh, spinning a little bit too early there. And now I think Breadghost is going to be going for a specific trick that we in the industry know as Boolean. Let's see here. Never mind, he's going to be doing mansion clip this time around. Okay. So the underside of the floor of this mansion is not solid. So by using a specific angle with the pole stars, we're actually able to get up under it. There's a different setup called Boolean, which allows you to enter into this room that Luigi is in right away without using the boom mushroom, but it's very tricky. And I can understand, again, Breadghost still going for good strats, but maybe not going for like the super optimal, super dangerous ones. Because that's another one where if you get it, you save like 10, 15 seconds, and if you fail it, you die. So you know how it is. Now, the benefit of Luigi saving Luigi is that Luigi joins us on the starship. Now, we're going to immediately reap the benefits of that, because Luigi will be delivering us very quick stars over the course of the run. But first, there's a little bit of housekeeping we have to do in order to get to that point. So you can see Breadghost moving on over here to fill up a Hungry Luma. This is the second Hungry Luma of the run. There's going to be one more that we feed at the very, very end. And now a nice little piece of movement optimization here. As you've probably seen a little bit from now, launch stars after they spawn need about a second or two to prime before we can actually use them. So instead of just waiting around to do nothing, we're going to talk to Luigi, and this is what primes him to later appear in galaxies and give us free stuff. So for now, he needs one star before he actually goes out and does his own thing, so let's go to a star. This star is not interesting at all. This is literally 25 long jumps to the star. So if you want to watch the players do 25 consecutive long jumps, then, I mean, that's what's about to be on your screen. I count 11 so far, 12, 13, and so on. Okay, 26 in Breadghost's case, but close enough. Alright, and now another nice piece of observatory optimization there. Again, Breadghost completing a Hungry Luma star, so that would kick him out to the front of the observatory. But also, we get kicked out here to hear that Luigi has given us a letter. So this is a nice way to just stack teleportations on top of each other and ensure that we don't waste time unnecessarily moving about the map. So, on our way back into the terrace, we have 2 quick stars to do in here. One of them is indeed going after Luigi. He delivered us a letter that he got stuck on a roof somehow. Was able to take a picture and send it to us. No idea how. But if you blink it, you'll miss it, so pay attention. And that's the level. Yeah, Toogs, for the longest time, it was only like about 10 seconds apart. And then Ginkgo unfortunately died twice in Bowser 1 trying to do that fast, like 2P only triple jump to start the fight earlier. So that's been the main differential. Oh, that end, I think he messed up Beach Bowl 3 once. Okay, let's get back to Breadghost. He's checking out the second comet. This is the Cosmic Clone Comet. We're going to be racing the blue lad. And it's not going to be much of a race because he sucks. Oh, Breadghost a little bit too late on the A press. If you press A within the first 5 frames of Go appearing, you get a starting boost. But again, we're just going to cheat, so it doesn't really matter. Oh, not quite lining it up correctly. Yeah, Breadghost has been pretty clean. I think he had one death in Sling Pod, but otherwise no, like, noteworthy mistakes. But of course, we're going back into Beach Ball Comet, where we can once again do battle with the Stone Cyclone, so mistakes are definitely possible, as Ginkgo showed us. Oh yeah, Saimar is right. Yeah, Ginkgo died twice on the Stone Cyclone, but once to the first long jump and once to the final long jump. Or no, once on the platform shortly after the first long jump getting trolled by the Tox Box. Yeah, I remember now. Alright, the third comet is the Fast Foe Comet. It does what it says on the tin. The enemies are going to be moving nice and fast. And the movement does not change. Excuse me, Luigi's movement does not change. We're going to be doing the exact same thing. But the boxy lads are going to be going slightly faster. And by slightly, I mean like twice. So there he goes. Long jump up to the left, and very nicely placed. Breadghost is 2 for 2 on the Stone Cyclone. Really putting the pressure on Ginkgo to do well here. We're going to be heading into Ghostly Galaxy once again. We're going to have 2 more stars to do here. This first one is a race against the Spooky Speedster. If anyone in chat wants to get their guesses in for a good time, ideally Breadghost will be getting a time somewhere in between 41 and 45 seconds on the upcoming race. Never mind. Breadghost is actually doing the Secret Star first. So, hold your guesses for now. Actually, yeah, I think Breadghost talked about this. He likes to do S first so that he doesn't, like, accidentally press 3. So, fine. Anyways, he's going to be doing some invisible wall kicking here. I wish I had more time to prime this, but this trick is really hard. Due to how centiseconds work in this game, times ending in 2, 4, 7, and 9 are impossible, says Toogs, somebody who put in a time that ended with 4. SMH my head. Alright, Ginkgo doing the Stone Cyclone skip correctly this time around. And we are good. So Breadghost doing a trick that we like to call keyless. Basically, the door frames... There are door frames that are physically loaded in, even though they're not visible yet. They would be uncovered if you collect a key and progress an auto-scroller. But we're actually able to do some wall kicks and very precise jumps off those in order to skip the auto-scroller and get up there nice and quickly. Okay, so now Breadghost going into Ghostly 2. I understand where he's coming from. It doesn't make a difference which one you do first, but Breadghost, a slightly safer one to ensure that he doesn't accidentally select Ghostly 3, which we don't do in this run. It's a fun star, though. Gonna stick with 69 for the memes, I respect it. Maybe Ginkgo will do the... No, Ginkgo's not gonna do the same thing. That's a Breadghost only thing. TM. Oh, accidentally hitting the meat. And that is not how you want to do it. He's gotten spun back and forth like a pinball. Breadghost really needs to stabilize himself. Ooh, that is not how you want to see that race start. Now, it doesn't matter in terms of the race. Like, okay, technically, if the Spooky Speedster beats you to the end, you die. But we're not going to lose to him. We're just not going to get a very good time. So, to everyone in chat that guessed a good time, I'm sorry to disappoint. Breadghost with a little bit of an awkward start there. Yeah, those pieces of meat, very easy to lose a whole bunch of time on them. Ginkgo navigating it a little bit faster. 5305, yeah, that is in the neighborhood of like 10 seconds slower than what Breadghost wanted to get. So we have 5305 versus what's Ginkgo going to get? To see how much time he's making up. 4323. Alright, so yeah, a little under 10 seconds faster. So that's... well, that's something. Ginkgo's definitely taking any chance he can get to catch up. He still has to go back and do the Ghostly Secret. He's going to be doing a slightly different version of the keyless trick that we saw Breadghost do. Breadghost right on his way into the second Bowser Jr. level. The Airship Armada, because we needed a second airship level for some reason. If we had this one, then why did we need Camella to be sort of jammed into the middle of space junk? I don't know. I didn't design this game. But, okay. The level itself is pretty mediocre. There's not really anything to it. We're just going to be flinging ourselves about a couple of airships. You can see Breadghost shooting off to the left to skip one of the airships. Normally they want you to go straight across and there's a second airship you have to deal with, but we're just going to jump right on over to the third one. And then a cute little auto-scroller. You know, it do be scrolling though. And now the boss fight. This is probably the most chaotic boss fight in the whole game. There's going to be a lot going on. Ooh, Ginkgo messing up what we call 2P keyless. And slightly too far to the left, hitting the death zone, and having to go not too far back. Breadghost ripping off a shot automatically. That is a very clean boss fight, and with that, Breadghost is finished. Ginkgo having a lot of trouble with 2P keyless. It can be very difficult to properly navigate yourself around all of these invisible walls. Because, you know, they're invisible. 11:52 for Breadghost. Ginkgo finally getting up to the star. We are heading into a point in the match where the players are going to be making very few mistakes because the upcoming levels are actually a lot easier. So, for the next, I don't know, 14 levels or so, maybe 13, it's going to be very difficult for Ginkgo to be making up any ground here. Breadghost very diligently talking to Toad first. We do that to ensure that we get a second Luigi letter, because we're going to be saving Luigi once again here. Before we do that, we have to head on over to a galaxy called Hurry Scurry. This wasn't unlocked when we were here in the fountain the first time, so we're coming back to do it now, because it's nice and quick. There's really nothing to talk about here. This level has 2 sections, and both of which are really self-explanatory. There's no skip. Well, there is a skip, but neither player is going to do it, because it doesn't save any time. And, yeah, you'll see. Breadghost ensuring he does as much damage to the toad as possible. That is optimal for no reason at all, it's just funny. Ginkgo having a little bit of trouble with the green shell's auto-targeting. It kind of honed in on the bullet bill and prevented it from hitting the starship. Isn't it optimal to get rid of star bits? Yes. So the players will try to do that as much as possible. Now, there is an exception to that. In these levels in the upcoming dome that Breadghost will be entering soon, if there are no other notifications, so for example there, Breadghost got one that was Galaxy completed, and as long as there isn't one like, you know, Galaxy completed or unlocking a new chapter of the storybook or stuff like that, you're allowed to collect up to 18 star bits without getting any time loss, just because of there's like a little bit of downtime. But we'll see that in a little bit. You're going to see Breadghost collecting about 18 star bits from pretty much every level he enters after this one. Now, you're actually not supposed to collect star bits from this galaxy, but I guess Breadghost will anyways, just to be safe. So yeah, another auto-scroller, and Ginkgo going in to do the exact same thing, missing the grounded 2P jump and unable to make the bridge, or unable to bridge the gap, I should say. And then a little optimization from Breadghost here, doing a triple jump to just get to this second saucer a little bit faster. And Luigi. Yeah, that was fun, I guess. Alright, so another nice little bit of routing there. The green star, when you collect the first one of those, you get brought back to the front of the observatory. So we're able to do that because we're done with the bedroom. So we can now go on to the next dome. Now, there's a couple of ways to get to that dome. You can walk around the observatory, or you can do what Breadghost is doing here and just sort of jump in the center. Nice and quick-like. And on to probably my favorite galaxy in this dome, or at least a lot of people's anyways. Freeze Flame 1, pretty cool level. Get it? Because it's ice. I'm making that joke every time. God, I complained about people making jokes every time I do this, and now I'm doing it myself. I need to stop. Okay. Freeze Flame 1. Super fun level, very technical, lots of cool platforming. But first, a little bit more animal abuse. Because you know what they say about Galaxy, it's not Super Mario Galaxy if you're not abusing enough animals. So this penguin calls us old, tells us to catch him. It's really funny that he's taunting us for how slow we are, but is like, wait, give me a 5-second head start. Like, come on, bro. One of the best levels is Freeze Flame Secret. True. Fun level, when it goes right. When it goes wrong, I hate it, but that's everything. So Breadghost making sure he has an ice flower. He's going to do a triple jump on top of that question mark block. Right into the Sling Star. Like I said, very nice movement all around. Immediately going on up to the boss fight. And this boss fight is really dumb. As you can see, you spin the boss, and then you spin him again, and then you spin him again, and again, and again. It's my favorite level. Oh, jeez. My first instinct is to say Toy Time 1. Trying to think. I know I spent a lot of time optimizing Good Egg 3. So I kind of like that level. It's definitely between those two. Ginkgo has finished up his excursion to the fountain. He is also now into the bedroom. He's going to be about a star behind Breadghost, as Breadghost moves on to Freeze Flame at 2. This involves a little bit of fire, but of course we have an ice planet at the start for some reason. And now a little optimization you see from Breadghost is that he goes neutral on the control stick after spinning. The star chip takes a second to materialize and become collectible, so we go neutral to ensure that we don't just skate right through it. And now another level that is mostly long jumping, but has one really nice skip coming up here. Not necessarily this one, this is just a very nice little gravity exchange. But here's a skip that anyone can do. You're going to get to this part of the level and then you're going to long jump to the right, and that is the entire skip. And Breadghost somehow getting backwards momentum. I've never seen that before. I wonder if there's a way to do that consistently. I've never seen that happen. And now just bring in the fire flower on over to light up the torches. Right into the star he goes. Nice and easy. You've gotten it several times? Fair enough. I've never gotten it. That's the first time I've seen it, even. Alright, Breadghost changing courses, heading on over to Gusty Garden 1. We tried to do the comet of each galaxy as late as possible, just to ensure that on the star select screen there are as few stars as possible. That saves like a couple seconds over the course of the run. It's very minor optimization. Gusty Garden as a galaxy is wholly uninteresting. It's got the music that's kind of like the poster of this game, but I mean, music doesn't make up for boring level design. So he's going to do that. Ginkgo's going to head into Freeze Flame 2. As I said, about a star behind is Ginkgo. Right here, Breadghost is going to try to stay in these, the floaty fluff is what this flower is called, as long as possible to get to this planet all the way back here, skipping across one bean planet, and then a well-placed triple jump here, or a backflip. Because he accidentally messed the timing, will also be enough. Oh. Misplaced the backflip just slightly. It is possible to bridge this gap with a backflip, but it's obviously a lot tighter of a window than with the triple jump. And now we do a little bit more animal abuse. Going to be trying to shoot some star bits at a bunny, try to catch it. Ah! Undershooting it just slightly is Breadghost. Yeah, it is possible to long jump in such a way that you land right on the bunny, but it is extremely tight. Ginkgo down to 1 health, it looks like. It's going to be a little bit nerve-wracking seeing him bridge this gap across the lava, but as long as he doesn't drop any spins, he's good to go. Alright, Ginkgo doing what he can to keep pace, but again, we're in a bit of a boring part of the run, so it's going to be hard for him to make up any time here. Freeze Flame 3 is a level where you can die a lot if you're tilted. I can say that with authority because I have died here a lot when I'm tilted. I don't think Breadghost has reason to be though, so I don't see him having too much trouble with this, but now that I've said it, Commentator's Curse is going to kill me. I'm sorry, Breadghost. I'm really not trying to do this, but... okay. So, Freeze Flame 3, hot and cold collide. You're going to be seeing the hot and the cold interact a lot. You saw it on that planet. It's going to happen again on this one. Gotta go to the other side to get a Fire Flower. Nothing too complicated here. We are going to skip most of the content on the second half of the planet with just triple jumps. So you're going to do one to bridge the gap here, and then a backflip in order to just wall kick our way out of the cage. And we've escaped. The Fire Flower is ours. Go. Run. And now, one of the cooler applications of the Ice Flower, you can skate on lava. Now, this isn't because of lava, it's because the developers put a thin layer of water underneath the lava, which is what this Ice Flower is actually freezing, but... ooh, that was a cool double jump. Breadghost double jumping his way right into the star. So now Ginkgo, if he has a well-placed long jump here, he can make up a little bit of time on Breadghost, and he does jump right into the bunny. Nice and easy. Alright. We are going into Gusty Garden the second. This is a very long and very boring level. Dreadfully boring. I am falling asleep just thinking about it. This question mark planet is sort of infamous for just being cringe, because moles. You want to keep the moles in a specific position so that they're never on screen when you don't want them. Things only move when they're on screen. And so sometimes the moles will just like not be on screen for a certain part of the time, and then they'll just kind of run past you and got the big old troll face. Breadghost making it through most of the complicated parts of this level. And now on to the boss fight. This boss fight is also a mole. It behaves like a mole, walks like a mole, talks like a mole, you know, all that. Ginkgo's turn to do battle with Freeze Flame 3. There he goes. What a fine specimen. So neither player having issue with Freeze Flame 3. Probably the hardest star in like the major portion of the bedroom. Arguably the Bowser is the hardest. Oh, Breadghost forgetting what phase it is. He accidentally ground pounds twice there. And interesting, I didn't know that Major Burrows kind of like jumped up in the air when you ground pounded twice. That's cool. So this phase you do have to ground pound twice. And that time Breadghost does it nicely. Major Burrows is done and we are leaving. We are out of Gusty Garden for another 3 minutes or so. We'll be back here in just a little bit. Ginkgarbor trailing closely behind. I would put him at about maybe 3 minutes behind right now. Which is not an insurmountable gap by far, but he's definitely feeling the pressure now, I'm sure. Alright, into Freeze Flame Secret. This is another super technical level. Lots of precise platforming needed for this, but first, we gotta bully more penguins. Alright, so the penguin that called us old has been put in his place. Now we can move back on over, and we're going to be taking an immediate detour from where we went in 1. In 1 we went straight forward, now we're going to go off to the right, which is where you're supposed, in quotation marks, to go for 1 as well, but we're cool and we skip most of this boring stuff. Gonna try to do a diagonal wall kick here as Breadghost. Very nice. You're able to do wall kicks off of perpendicular walls in this game. Very cool stuff. And now we gotta grab the Fire Flower, because there are some snowmen that need melting. Ooh, Breadghost getting pushed by the... what do you call those? Ooh, now he's facing the wrong way. Is he going to be able to make it back? He is, but he's unfortunately going to have to go back for another Fire Flower. It is possible to die there because there's a black hole just to the right, and it will suck you in super fast, but thankfully Breadghost avoiding complete disaster there. There you go, that's the triple jump he wanted. Alright, now we can continue with the rest of the level. So that's Scare over, hopefully the worst is over. There we go. And now just nothing but pristine backflips and wall kicks from Breadghost. What a fine specimen. And now this is the last star in Freeze Flame, so we're now able to collect the Comet. Again, a little bit of menuing optimization, nothing too crazy. This is the second Cosmic clone of the run. We're going to be doing 4 of these overall. So they're nice and fast little stars. There you go. That time Breadghost does get the starting boost, so you can see he glowed yellow for a little bit there. Alrighty, so nothing too crazy. Ginkgo going back doing the same level that Breadghost just finished. Breadghost getting through the relatively self-explanatory Cosmic Clone race. It's the exact same thing as 3, but there's no lava. Heading back into Gusty Garden to do Gusty Garden 3. This level itself is also kind of, like, uneventful, aside from the very, very end. It's more the same floaty fluff and fly around and fall asleep nonsense as the previous 2 Gusty Garden levels. But the end has a nice skip. So there you go, Breadghost keeping a good amount of height with his floaty fluff to skip that bottom bean planet, moving right on up to the top one. Hey, Breadghost also backflips there. Nice. I thought I was the only one who backflipped over that last row of spiky plants, but I guess not. Oh, Breadghost accidentally going for a homing ground pound there. Nearly ground pounding on the amp, that would have hurt. But alright, getting the star chips nice and easy. Ooh. So a bit of an awkward camera cancel there. Breadghost trying to turn the camera off to the left, or to the right as quickly as possible. He's not able to get the skip that he was looking for, so he has to go for this other one, which is really just a long jump off to the right. Very easy. That's one that Breadghost had a lot of trouble with in his round 1 match, so I'm glad to see that he has improved on that. And that is Gusty Garden 3 all done. Ginkgo again keeping up. He's only 1 star behind. Alright, 4th comet of the game. 4th type of comet, I should say. The Daredevil Comet. This just puts you to 1 HP. And it's a boss fight. We redo the fight with the mole, so the mole can get his revenge. Or maybe not, who knows. Sometimes you just die about it. Alrighty. Let's see if Breadghost is able to deal with this boss fight. We've seen this boss before, there's nothing too crazy about it. Nice and straightforward. Ginkgo also attacking Gusty Garden 3. He's also going to do the same long jump to the right, and he's able to clear that gap with no issue. Going for that 2P jump, that is... Given Ginkgo's history with 2P tricks in this run so far, I would say that's a very stupid decision, but he made it, so it's all good. Alright, a very quick star here coming up for Breadghost, the secret star of Gusty Garden. I'm not going to talk about it because it's a secret, but I will say these question mark coins are important. Yeah, I assume he's talking about the Time Warp song. Another rainbow star, breaking open the golden chomp. That's where the star is, by the way. That's the secret. Alright, so with that, Breadghost has finished up Gusty Guardian Galaxy. Again, Ginkgo keeping it nice and close. Going through major burrows nice and easy. And now it is time for Honey Climb. That rhymes. I'm pretty good at this game. That game called Rhyming. Now, this level is fun for a few reasons. One, there's a lot of star bits, which is always nice. Two, it utilizes the honeycomb, which is something we would have been introduced to in Honey Hive had we actually done the first level as intended, but we didn't because we're cooler. And three, this level actually isn't fun and I kind of hate it. So, this level really only has one trick, which we've eloquently coined the Valu Fly High B thing. As you're going to see Breadghost, he's going to jump off, and yeah. Yeah, so what he did there was he pressed A to initiate a fly, and then immediately after going airborne, he shook with his nunchuck. And for whatever reason, as long as you hold neutral on the control stick, that gives you an insane amount of height. Which in this case allowed him to go all the way up into the launch star without, you know, any hesitation at all. Really cool stuff. Yeah, that trick is super finicky because you need to be facing like straight up, and you need to go completely neutral on the control stick, and sometimes it sends you off in a weird direction that you really don't want to go. But there you go. Breadghost using it to its full potential there, getting up Honey Climb super duper fast. And with that, he is on to the last Bowser fight before the final Bowser fight, so the second to last Bowser fight. And arguably the hardest Bowser fight. Now, this is another extremely technical level. Lots of moving gravity, lots of cycles we're trying to hit. One really difficult trick that involves playing around in like 4 different gravity fields at the same time. It's a lot of super complicated fun. And if Breadghost is able to pull it off, it's going to be very cool to look at. Breadghost moving that long jump a little bit too far to the right. Already, you can see the gravity fields having a little bit of fun at Breadghost's expense. Those light blue squares are dark matter. If you touch them, you will die. So Breadghost making sure to not. Now he's going to make his way on up here and into one of the most annoying tricks in the run, plus skip. Ooh, not quite jumping across the gap. Okay, it's going to take another second or so to get to plus skip, so give us a moment. Ooh, Ginkgo almost missing the launch star. That would have been awkward. Breadghost, what are you doing? Okay, so now he's onto the plus. He's going to do a long jump spin. He's going to hold his control stick in the correct direction, and he's going to make it all the way over to the L in one long jump. Really cool stuff. Ginkgo trying to get the fly high trick off of one of these moving honeycomb. You can't actually do that. The trick does not work on those. So that's going to be costing him a little bit of time. Otherwise, he's up there going the wrong way, but he's able to fly over to the star. So this is another one. Breadghost trying to get up in time to spin out of Bowser's attacks. Now Bowser has the ability to spin, so we're going to have to counter not only his normal fire breathing and jumpy up and down tricks, but we're also going to have to be canceling his spins. So there's a lot of spinning going on here, as you're about to see. So we're going to go around, we're going to hit his tail this time to cancel his attacks. Ooh. Alright. Breadghost a little too close, accidentally taking damage, but thankfully Bowser still pounded into the blue circle, so he does take damage. Very close call for Breadghost. That would have cost him some 10 seconds if he'd have messed that up. So there you go. Another use of the weak spin that I talked about all the way back at King Caliente. If you remember that far from Good Egg 3. Be able to take advantage of the hitbox in order to cancel Bowser's spin, and that is the Bowser fight all finished. So Breadghost looking really, really good here. He's on pace for about a 226, which, given that 226 is Ginkgo's PB, that is definitely putting the pressure on him. So Ginkgo's definitely going to have to hope that Breadghost doesn't have a very good engine room, which is possible. Engine room is a very difficult dome. But we're going to, just have to wait and see. So Ginkgo also getting plus skip. And he is out of there as well. So now it's Ginkgo's turn to do battle with the boss. I would say Ginkgo's about 2 minutes behind. Somewhere in the neighborhood of that. Yeah, the engine room is the last dome we will be visiting. Well, I mean, we go back to the kitchen and the terrace near the end, but this is the last new dome we'll be going into. We'll be collecting about a dozen stars from here as well. Ooh, Ginkgo also taking damage, but again, Bowser so nicely landing on the blue circle anyways, allowing the fight to keep going without any time loss at all. And Breadghost moving his way on over, using a little bit of a nice observatory movement that he himself invented, the eloquently coined double Luma bounce. So yeah, Ginkgo finally catching up. Again, as I said, about 2 minutes behind. Still a really good pace for him on about 228, 229 pace, which is, of course, nothing to scoff at. Alright, Gold Leaf 1 starts out as a mirror of Honey Hive, but the stars themselves are quite different. We're going to start by grabbing some blue star chips. So you're going to see Breadghost take a counterclockwise lap around the starting planet, collecting all of those. Now, there's nothing too, game-breaking to talk about here. It's really just precise platforming. Oh. Spinning a little bit too early. Not quite able to make the full gap. You need to be very careful with your timings on spins. You have just enough height to get up to the top of that platform. Now Breadghost ensuring that he has a few extra star bits here, because this is yet another bunny chase. So we always want to get star bits when we're chasing after bunnies, because, again, star bits will stun bunnies, making it easier to catch them. So here we go. Let's see if Breadghost's aim is up to snuff. He is able to hit the bunny first try, getting the spin to increase Luigi's hitbox and collecting the bunny in no time. Good stuff. I see him try to throw away all of his star bits. He does do so, saving himself the 1 second text box. Now, Gold Leaf 1 wasn't all that special of a star. Gold Leaf 2, on the other hand, is insanely diabolical. This is a really tricky star because it utilizes cataquacks, or rather, utilizes the skipping of cataquacks. And sometimes these skips just do not behave. So, for example, this first cataquack up here, what they intend for you to do is use it to jump into a sling star. But we can actually just use it to get up onto this platform and take the launch star. It's a little bit faster, I'm sure you'd agree. Here they want you to use a cataquack to bridge the gap between this planet and the cube planet up there, but we just do a side flip. And then they want you to use a cataquack to bridge the gap between this cube and that sort of lightning bolt planet. We're going to do a triple jump to bypass that, but it's a little bit awkward to set up. You need to land on the rim still. Breadghost does so. And now they want you to use a cataquack to go from the lightning bolt planet up to that launch star that you see up there. And this time we actually are going to do that because it's fastest. So nothing too complicated there. And then finally, they want you to use a cataquack to get this bee mushroom. We're not going to. They want you to use a cataquack to get airborne and do a path around those flowers you see off to the right. And we're not going to do that. Any questions? They say, we want you to use the cataquack to do something. We say no and move on. Cool? Cool. Alright, Gold Leaf the third. This is another tower level, much like the one we saw in Hive 2. This is another boss fight at the top of the tower. Cool boss. Not very difficult, but the bubbles make him annoying to do fast, because they'll knock you back and make it hard to, you know, get at him. You're going to see Breadghost trying to get a jump off of this tree in order to immediately skip to the top of this wooden section. He's not quite able to line it up correctly. Having a little bit of trouble getting where he wants to go. But there you go, another diagonal wall kick, allowing him to get up right away. And now some cute little platforming to make it all the way to the top of the tower. Now, normally, you're going to take this vine over here and use it to jump into the playing field, but if he's able to spin hard enough, he's able to spin just before the animation finishes, and now the boss has effectively been neutered. So the boss isn't going to move unless you enter the area. There's like a trigger zone in which the boss will activate, but Breadghost is going to ensure he doesn't go there. Now, watch your eyes on Ginkgo's screen. He's going to be going for a 2P only jump. He's going to try to do a triple jump onto that flower and then jump off of it in the couple of frames he has before it disappears, and ideally, that's going to allow him to jump right into the star. It's very difficult because this camera does not behave, but no, not quite high enough. See if he can get it this time. Triple jump's good, 2P jump is good. Not able to move in the correct direction. Nope, triple jump buffered there. You can see Ginkgo, his main problem so far in this run has been these 2P tricks. Right, you saw it, his first major time loss was back at the first Bowser fight, trying to do a 2P trick to enter the fight early. And then again in Ghostly, the Ghostly Secret, he had a 2P trick that he messed up like 3 or 4 times. And now this. All of these just major mistakes being caused by 2P. That is the trade-off that I was talking about earlier. There are a lot of benefits. More star bits, being able to freeze enemies, the 2P jump. But these tricks are insanely difficult. Toy time 1 for Breadghost. Another very cool level that's a lot of nice platforming. Starts off with a lot of long jumping, but it very quickly becomes a lot more technical. Spinning a little bit off there, but he's into these pink sections, change the gravity. This level is also the introduction to the spring mushroom, which is objectively the worst Mario item ever. I don't care if you think otherwise, that's just the truth, sorry to tell you. Now, the end of this level features Mecha Bowser, which some people consider a boss for some reason. And involved with him is a trick that we call armpit skip, where we're going to use his armpit to skip most of the boss. I don't know why people call it a boss, I'll just call it a boss to stay, like, true to convention. So you're going to see another long jump off to the right from Breadghost, going to try to get some wall kicks with this rapidly changing camera. Semi-blind now, but he's going up. Ooh, he went a little too far off to the left there. So he's forced to stay inside the crook of the elbow for a moment, but there is this nice tab on his shoulder that allows us to jump all the way up. And that is armpit skip. That's Mecha Bowser all done with. As soon as Breadghost takes out those rocks, he's out of there. Just in time for Ginkgarbor to finish up with Gold Leaf 3 boss. So Ginkgo only 1 star behind, but Toy Time 1 is like a 3-minute long star, so that's definitely not the star you want to be behind. Breadghost's going to be heading back for the 3rd Cosmic Clone race, going back into Gold Leaf. This one is going to be slightly harder than its Honey Hive counterpart, because instead of cheating by going down, we're going to have to cheat by going up, which is significantly harder. We're working against gravity here. So that same tree climb skip thing that you saw Breadghost do in Gold Leaf 3 will be used here. Again, Breadghost a little late on the draw with the A press, but it's no big deal. So here he's going to try to set up a triple jump. Do some semi-blind wall kicks. Nope, he's too close to the wood. He's going to have to settle for the backflips, the backflip back up. He is able to get that, and that is the Cosmic Clone vanquished. And now C-Slide. Now, C-Slide is nothing more than an auto-scroller. So, or at least C-Slide 1 is anyways. So yeah, here's Guppy. He wants you to go through his 8 rings. There's really nothing to talk about here. Just go through the rings, lol. Ginkgabor's turn to do battle with the Cosmic Clone. We'll see him go for a very similar setup, though he might have a 2p jump that he can use somewhere in there to ensure that he gets up on top of the wood structure. Nope, no 2p jump, just a very well-placed triple jump, allowing him to get up onto the platform right away. Good stuff. Toy time 2 now for Breadghost. This is a good level for Starbits as well. He needs 600 more by the time, or roughly by the time he leaves the engine room. He can have a little bit fewer if he hasn't quite been so lucky, but I think he's on good pace for Starbits. So yeah, Toy Time 2, very simple level. Really only that planet that was just shown, not this 8-bit Mario, is the only thing worth talking about. You have to collect 5 star chips on that. And the only sort of technique that I think Breadghost will be going for is a triple jump to get to the second one, which is a little bit faster. Here we go, let's see it. There we go, nice and easy. Getting into the gravity field of the big screw. And a nice little jump off of the Mecha Koopa. Utilize backwards momentum, get to the top of the screw nice and easy. And then this 8-bit Mario, there's nothing to it. It's 5 silver stars. Oh, missing the long jump is Breadghost. Not over. He is still going to be able to long jump right over to that green platform, and he should be able to make it with no issue. Yep. So yeah, that fire, or that lava, I guess, a little bit scary, but Breadghost able to navigate it safely. Alright, we have 2 more levels in Sea Slide that Breadghost is going to show off, and with it he's going to show off the surface swimming mechanic. This is a alternate version of the spin swimming that you saw perhaps back in, well, Sea Slide 1 and also a few of the levels in Beach Bowl. If we're able to get a spin swim right along the surface, it is super fast. However, it is very taxing on the arm because you have to be shaking the Wii Remote constantly for the roughly minute that you're doing so. Anyways, here we have a race. So we're going to be racing some penguins. If you want, you can get your guesses in the chat for what time Breadghost is going to get. Good times, I would say, are between 45 and 55 seconds. Breadghost is going to be aiming for somewhere in that ballpark. Oh, little bunk off the wall. Okay, I would say getting sub 50 is going to be very difficult for him now. You definitely don't want to be grabbing red shells. Red shells are slow. So yeah, due to an unfortunate start there by Breadghost, he's definitely a lot slower than he wanted to. 59.05. Didn't he get like a 43.05 on Ghostly 2? That's interesting. What is it with Breadghost in the 05s, man? Now, Sea Slide the Comet. This is the 4th Cosmic Clone race and the last one, so we're finally done seeing Cosmic Luigi. If Breadghost is able to get a good surface swim here, then this Cosmic Clone race will be extremely easy. If not, it can actually cause you some trouble, so... Oh yeah, Breadghost had a 53 something. No, I think Breadghost was 53.05. Breadghost, or Ginkgarbor was a 43.23, I believe was his time. I'll check the VODs later. Just kidding. No, I won't. It's not that big of a deal. Alright. So, Cosmic Luigi. Cosmic Luigi grabs a red shell, which is the 2nd fastest form of swimming in this game, behind spin/surface swimming. Ooh, Breadghost almost had it. There we go. He gets his 2nd try here. He's off to the races. He's going. Ooh, losing it there. Catching on the sort of edge of the beach can sometimes cause you to lose it. But he's able to build it back up right away. And just not wasting any more time in the water. Just get me out of there. So get out of there he does. Ginkgarbor, on his way through the race, he went above the water a little bit earlier than I'd have liked to see, but he should still be able to make this coin. Generally, we try to stay underwater until this coin... Oh, he chickens out a little bit early. Coward. Yeah, we try to make that coin underneath the that sort of machine in order to ensure that we have enough health and air to stay alive. Ginkgo opting to take it a little bit safer. No big deal. Playtime secret. This requires 50 star bits to feed a hungry Luma, which we can collect on fly-in, so that's not a big deal. And this unlocks the flip switch chain. Now, ideally, a little optimization we'll see from Breadghost here is he'll be going into first-person mode. Yep, and he's going to look right at the flip switch chain, and that's going to ensure that the cycles for these tox boxes move ahead, because they're going to make this platforming a little bit easier. So you can see he's able to just walk right in, get that flip switch, and he's out of there. It also ensures this one's here for him. So just overall, it makes the platforming a lot easier. Ooh, very tight movement, getting just out of there in time to collect these flip switches down here. Yeah, there is some very tight movement you can do here. Breadghost showing it off magnificently. Now, unfortunately, these red spiky lads are a little bit hard to navigate properly. Breadghost missing twice. A little bit of a subpar cleanup, but overall, nothing too big on the macro front. So Ginkgo still keeping it close. Ooh. Colliding with the rock, losing his surface swim. He's able to pick it up again right away, so not too far behind. Breadghost also had some issues, so Ginkgo can potentially catch up a little bit. But again, about a full star between the two of them. It's coming down to it. Breadghost on the final comet of the game. This is another fast foe comet. This makes the tox boxes and the red spikies, again, move twice as fast. We will perhaps see slight changes in Breadghost movement, maybe taking it a little bit safer than usual, just to ensure that he doesn't get, like, crushed. It's not too bad to take, like, slightly slower movement here because the cycles are a lot faster overall. If you miss a cycle, you just wait another 3 seconds and it's ready for you. Ooh, just barely skirting the line there. Breadghost just riding the edge of that tox box. Taking a hit from the red spikes. That happens sometimes. Oh, another one. Thankfully, there's a coin just up here, so Breadghost is not in danger of dying. There's another one on top of the flip switches here, so he's definitely safe. Ginkgo heading into the flip switch chain himself. Again, keeping it close. He also manipulated the cycle, so this is going to be really pleasant for him overall. Now he's not using nearly as many long jumps as Breadghost. He's going to make a similar cycle. Going to be there for when the tox box is all the way at the top. Good stuff. So we've seen the flip switch chain before, so Ginkgo just heading on over to that. He freezes that red spike a little bit too early, making it a little hard to get the flip switch, but at the end of the day, it's not the end of the world. And now, as he finishes up with this, we see Breadghost heading into the final star of the engine room. Gold Leaf Secret. This is another bubble one. Pretty straightforward. I'm gonna collect some music notes, see if you can recognize the tune. A little hard to tell there, but that is another Mario song. Alright, that is all of the engine room that we will be seeing for this run. Now Breadghost is going to head back over to the kitchen. We're going to be doing 2 stars from a galaxy that only just unlocked after we had left it. One of 2 songs playable by the piano ghost in Luigi's Mansion. Interesting. It's also the underwater theme from Super Mario Bros. Buoy Base. Buoy Base has some of my favorite music. Ooh, Ginkgo getting caught on the edge of the planet there, not quite able to make that flip switch before the tox box converges on him. Alright, so Buoy Base, really, really fun level. We're going to be leading, this time it's Torpedo Ted's, or Torpedo Tom's. I forgot what his actual name is, but going to be leading him into this thing, and then it's up to the top of the tower. Now, normally there's this whole thing about activating, like, screws to make the platforms move and collect blue star chips to get all the way to the top. We're not going to be doing any of that. We're just going to be doing some good old-fashioned Mario platforming. So up he goes, skipping the star chip entirely and just making his way up to the top manually. We don't have to start the platforms. You can actually collect the star chips as well without, like, starting the things getting moving. And now a very nice Buoy Base spring skip from Breadghost. Trying to spin just as he gets the initial boost so that he sort of gets sprung up twice. It allows for just a little bit more height, which is all we need to clear that gap. And to the star with him. Now, I did say 2 stars. We're going back in for the secret star. I think this is the only galaxy in the game where you get 2 stars, so that's interesting. So now gravity switches, we're on the underside of the planet, and there's no skip here. It's again just leading the bullet bill into the cage. Yep, nothing to it. And as the last level Breadghost is going to be doing as part of the kitchen, and I guess it's kind of with an asterisk because this isn't like physically in the kitchen, we're going to be heading on over to Drip Drop, which is our 3rd Hungry Luma of the run. Breadghost, as you can see, has over 600 star bits, which is what you need to feed this guy. So, let's do it. In this one, you want to kill 3 eels. Now, the problem with that is, again, because things only move when they're on screen, it can be very difficult to know where the eels are sometimes. And so trying to construct the optimal route is a little bit awkward, and if you miss an eel with a shell, then it's really difficult to back up. So Genko, he's also climbing the buoy base 1 tower. He's doing some 2P movements specifically, as these 2P jumps allow him to reach some of these higher platforms easier. He's having a little bit of trouble getting to this top one. I'm not exactly sure what's happening with him. But Breadghost very quickly, very naturally taking out all 3 eels, and he's right on top of the star, I think. I think he's going to touch the star instantly. That is a really good drip drop. I'm kind of jealous. And we are at 59 stars, got to get 1 more, and so thankfully Luigi has a 3rd star for us. We're going to be saving him from the Honey Hive Galaxy. Alright, Breadghost has collected his 60th star. He is about 7.5 minutes away from finishing the run. He's looking to be on about 2:26:20 something pace. So that's, of course, really, really good for a race setting. Yeah, so for those of you who were here last, I think it was Saturday, Breadghost and Ginkgo both did their own first round races. Ginkgo actually got his PB of a 2:26:21 in his race, whereas Breadghost got a 2:38 something. So definitely Breadghost, I'm sure, felt a little bit of drive to sort of de-rust a little bit. and it definitely came together today. He's got really solid race. 226 is not a bad time at all. It's actually quite strong. One of the top times of the race so far, I think.
Go, Luigi.
So yeah, Ginkgo finishing up Drip Drop, killing his third eel. He is, again, about 2-3 minutes behind, so not too bad for him either, still looking on sub 230 pace, perhaps. Definitely the highest class race we've had so far. Both players scoring under 2.5 minutes. Breadghost having a little bit of trouble setting up his movement. He wants to do a very specific set of long jumps in order to make an early cycle with this these light beams here that affect the gravity. He's not going to make it, but it's not the end of the world. It's only a couple of seconds. So yeah, nothing too crazy about this this third Bowser phase, because most of the planets you can just kind of skip with like 1 or 2 jumps, which is kind of funny. But we're coming up into the infamous cave. This is where runs come to die. Now, there's a few different ways you can navigate this cave. I think both players are going to be going for the hardest way, the so-called Giselle cave movement. I am very incorrect. Breadghost is not doing that. He's... That's a death. Yeah, he unfortunately... I don't know what he was trying to go for, but he unfortunately went off the ledge there, lost a little bit of time, and got thwomped. Hey, he got the 69. All right, now his run is blessed. So that was, I think, the problem, is that he didn't have 69 star bits. That is generally the way you want to play this level. 69 star bits is optimal for reasons. Taking a nice little damage boost here in order to slide right on through the Bonsai Bill. And that is pretty much all that there is to talk about with regards to the level. Now, the boss fight is going to be another 3 minutes or so. So this is not quite over yet. Definitely the longest boss fight of the run, but I mean, it's the last boss fight, so it has reason to be. Breadghost with stairs that are smooth as butter. You love to see it. God, getting good stairs in this game is actually, like, infuriatingly difficult. So, good to see Breadghost getting up them with no issue. Ginkgo heading into Bowser 3 himself. Let's see if he has better luck nabbing this early cycle early on. Ginkgo practiced this, like, just before the run started. I was in his stream talking with him, so... hopefully he's able to make it. This is looking like some sketchy movement. Ooh, hitting the edge of the unbreakable block. I don't know what those things are called, those brown boxes, but definitely not what you want to see. So yeah, Ginkgo also missing the early cycle. It's very difficult, so I don't necessarily blame him for it. But yeah, Breadghost onto the fight. We should focus on him just for the moment. As you can see, this final Bowser starts off as a rock. Gonna spin him in the face. This next bit, you can see these bulbs on the planet. These things are very good at smacking, so we're gonna smack them with them. Very quick phases overall, but there are 3 of them, so this does turn into quite a long boss fight. Now, Breadghost has told me that he's died here before, and if you die here, you do start at the very start of the fight again, so you could lose 3 minutes. That could be the beacon that Ginkgo was looking for, but I highly doubt it. Breadghost, not one to make mistakes this late, except for the one he did, but ignore that. Ginkgo gonna go for the harder Giselle Cave movement. It's semi-blind, the camera is stuck behind the thwomps. But he is able to get over here. The bullet bill is chasing him down, but Ginkgo's too fast. Gonna snag this coin to ensure that he doesn't die. Freezing the bullet bills. And Ginkgo is also over to the final fight. It's a little bit too little too late, as Breadghost is already finishing up. Just needs to track down Bowser, which is actually kind of difficult. Bowser kind of turns on a dime sometimes. But with that, Breadghost is done. That's looking like a 226.56. Oh, I was way off. It's not a 226.56, my bad. 227.03. So Breadghost is indeed the winner of this match. If we go by the seeding, this was expected. All that's left is for Ginkgo to finish it out. Again, really high caliber race. Both players, it looks like they're going to be both finishing in under 2 hours 30 minutes, which is honestly the best race so far. But of course, that's what we got for round number 2. I should post the bracket again just in case there's anyone who hasn't seen it. So I don't know how many of you watch Galaxy Speedrunners on the side, but hopefully there's a few names you can think of in there. This match is the very bottom one, Group D, winners round 2. So Breadghost, by virtue of winning this match, has qualified for the final bracket. Ginkgo still has to win one more. Hello, Breadghost.
Hello.
Nice to see you here again.
See you too.
Relatively soon, actually. I'm a little surprised you chose to race only 4 days after your last one, but
Well,
looks like it worked out.
honestly, it wouldn't have worked out otherwise, probably, because otherwise I wouldn't be available until probably the end of the 2-week period. So it's Christmas and everything. I live pretty far with family, so I'm going home for a little while. Wouldn't be back here for that. Ginkgo, same issue. So we just ended up doing it early.
Well, it all worked out for you, so I guess no harm done.
I guess. Oh, yeah. That was a scary match.
Yeah, that... You guys were very close for a good chunk of the first half. It was up until Bowser won. You guys only had about 10-20 seconds between you.
Yeah.
And then Ginkgo had a few issues with that, but we'll talk about that once he comes in with us.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, still sub 230 from both players, the best race thus far. Maybe not the closest. I think we've had one match that has finished like 1 minute apart, but in terms of caliber, this is the greatest by far. So thank y'all for putting on a show.
Mm-hmm. No problem. Forgot to turn on save VODs in my ult. So I actually had an even better save and sling pod in practice that I had on camera. But now I can't see it. Anyway.
My condolences.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a good save. The one off the ball, right?
Yeah, it's happened to me before.
Pretty spicy.
So that one I've seen before. That was the other one that hadn't. Hello, Ginkgo.
Hello. Hello.
Oh, you were here fast. Nice.
Yes.
All right, we have the 2 runners in here. So I suppose we'll start with the usual. How do y'all feel? Breadghost, what do you think of the run?
I mean, I'm fine with it. I mean, I've been doing some derust offline, so every derust is improved by another minute barrier. So far, I got a 229, then 228. This is 227. So interesting. I keep losing time in the final level. So
Yeah, what happened there? You sort of like took a spin around and then just kind of went off the edge.
I changed my mind about what strat I wanted to do last second, and then I just messed up the movement. And the bullet bill started following me, and I was like, "Oh god!" And then I was trying to avoid it, fell in the lava. Then I was like, "I can still make the cycle," and I just died. So
Yeah, that
tragic.
definitely didn't look intentional. Yeah, because you did go for the fast cave movement in your last match.
Yeah, I usually don't go for like the super hard stuff unless I know it won't affect too much what run I'm doing. So I didn't do Boolean in this run. I didn't do the fast cave movement. I was like, do I really want to do this right now? Potentially lose even more time that I've already lost.
Fair enough. So yeah, Ginkgo, what are your thoughts?
Yeah,
Definitely not your best run, eh?
Yeah, not my best run, but honestly, I'm totally fine with it. Of course, there were a few issues early on. I blame all of the issues on my hands because I was walking in the snow with my dad right before the run. My hands were extremely cold. I mean, I tried to warm them. I'm not really blaming it on them. Of course, they warmed up during the race, but of course there were a few issues here and there. Probably my least proudest moment of this run was when I tried the 2-piece strat and Bowser won. Yeah, that was really frustrating because I got it before the run, and I told myself, "Hey, let's do this." But it didn't work out. A few other things that didn't work out, like Ghostly S, where I just couldn't get the right angle for the backflip, and then fell off a few times and died even. But then the late game actually was decent for me. The thing that I'm most proud of is new gold in Bowser 2.
Nice.
And in general, I had fun racing. I didn't look too much at SpeedGaming because I was too nervous to do that. So I didn't know what pace you were on until the very end. So I didn't know if I was ahead or behind until the very end.
Yeah, for me, I was comparing to the 228 I got 2 days ago when I was derusting, and so that run in particular was actually fine up through kitchen. I was actually behind that run for most of this one, and then I lost a lot of time in engine room. So it was interesting for me doing this race because I was behind for most of the run, but then I saved a whole bunch of time in engine room, and then I had 2 minutes on Bowser 3. So,
yeah, Bowser 3.
Yeah, I wish I had gotten the 226. I think even if I played even a tad bit better in engine room, I could have gotten the 225 without the death in Fate of the Universe. But I'll definitely aim to get a 225 soon in the tournament.
Good stuff. Yeah, that was really close race. Like I said, up until Bowser won, there was never more of a difference of like 10, 15 seconds between you guys. So super competitive.
Oh, really?
For a good chunk of the first half.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
It was very close. Yeah. I was watching the whole thing. So.
I think Breadghost, you had like 7-second lead coming out of Bowser Jr. 1. And then the lead was pretty much shattered when you guys traded deaths on Slingpod.
Yeah.
And then Bowser won.
Yeah.
So yeah, really nice race. Thank you both. Neither of these two are done with the tournament yet, as I said. Breadghost with this win moves on to the final bracket. Ginkgo has one more chance in the groups. We don't know his opponent yet, but odds are good you'll be the favorite, so hopefully we'll be seeing you in the next bracket as well.
Yeah, let's see.
All right. Thank you, runners. If you have any more comments, then now's the time.
PG?
Yeah.
Fun race?
Yeah, GG was a fun race. Was kind of
Don't forget to finish on race time.
Oh yeah, I always forget that. Alright, I'm gonna do it right now. done.
Everyone's
All right, thanks, Steak, for commentating once again. Very
Anytime.
cool.
Thank you very much. Yeah.
Yeah, very nice. You woke
Alrighty.
up early the second time in a row, right?
It was meant to happen. It's okay. I was awake at like 5 a.m. It's like, all right, whatever.
Same.
It's just one of those
Thanks.
days, you know?
Thanks for your efforts.
Anytime.
All right.
Alrighty. See y'all next time.
See ya.
All right, that is it for me as well. That's another race done and dusted. That's the first race of round number 2. Many more races to come. So yeah, make sure to check the SpeedGaming schedule often. We will have more races, hopefully more this week, more next week, all that good stuff. So yeah,
Yay.
congrats on the win again, Breadghost.
Thank you, and have a good day, everybody, or evening.
Cheers, everyone. Bye.
Bye.